Okay, here we go. I'm the Voluptuous Witch, and I'm here with Tatiana Tarot.
Hello, how's everybody doing?
We're back with your Astro Tarot forecast for the week. We have a week of some exciting astrology. And what we're going to do is I will get into the astrology, and then we have Tatiana's amazing gift, connection with spirit, to illuminate for us how to best navigate some of what is happening in the cosmos. So right now, we're obviously in Leo season. Leo energy is big. So Leo energy is all about moving from the heart, living from the heart, being playful, being seen, being glamorous. We want to be accessing some of that energy that is very loving, very playful, and not shy, kind of putting ourselves out there. And it takes some courage. There's like a regal quality to Leo. So we kind of are wanting to be king or queen or whatever of our life.
Yeah.
Right now, like really kind of owning that. And Mars has been very close to the sun. And so this is in one way very energizing. Like it gives us a lot of energy. It gives us a lot of drive. It's really important to find physical outlets for that energy, to move the energy. Mars is also sex, exercise, being assertive. We want to move the energy, because when we don't have as much of an opportunity to move it, it can become anxiety, irritability.
Yeah.
Kind of want to bite everybody's head off. And so it's like to think about channeling the energy, or if we do catch ourselves in anxiety, to just kind of know Mars is close to the sun. It's sort of agitating, and it's okay, but things may not actually be quite as intense as they feel right now. And then one major thing were you going to say something?
No, I'm just agreeing
okay.
with you. I'm like, girl, you know my story already.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, I've definitely been feeling it too. I think that another piece of that is happening is sometimes I like to look at the sextiles and the semi-sextiles, some of the smaller aspects. I think they can be really important. And right now, Venus, Uranus, and Chiron are all kind of talking in this way. And to me, that's a lot about healing. It's a lot about healing and connection, and it's about doing something new. So this is a really good time to make rapid progress in our healing if we're willing to do something different, like go to a different kind of therapist, ask different questions, do new journaling, kind of like not be in a rut with our healing. So if there's something major that we've been wanting to kind of like bust through, work on, develop more intimacy, take better care of ourselves, this is also a really good moment for that. So that could be something good to put energy toward. And next Monday, we have the lunar eclipse. And then later toward the end of the week, Mercury will station retrograde. So next week is like a lot of flux. So this is a really good week to make some progress on things that are important to us, and kind of also be thinking about how we want to use that full moon magic. The full moon is a really magical time. Sometimes people talk about endings for the full moon, but I don't think of the full moon as much as a releasing time. I think that sometimes endings happen at the full moon because it's a climax. The full moon is like a climactic, powerful energy. So what?
I agree.
Right? Like it's very manifesting. And so definitely it's a good time to be thinking about this Aquarius full moon. That's also a lunar eclipse. The eclipses bring rapid change and transformation. We don't control all of that. We don't decide all of that, but we can definitely decide like what our vibe is going to be, what we're wanting to put out, so that we're not totally led by the elements. Like we have specific things that we're working to manifest and we're using the energy for. So it's a really good week to think about that too.
Totally.
Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah, so I think those are like the core, those are some of the core things that are coming up. It'll be exciting because we can be back with you next week to like give some last minute eclipse prep and also Mercury retrograde prep, which is important. Mercury is in Virgo now. I'll just mention that as the last thing. Mercury went into Virgo last week. And because of Mercury retrograde, Mercury is going to be in Virgo all the way until October. So,
oh my God, what? Okay. Okay, well, that's a benefit. Mercury retrograde is not going to be all the way until October, though, no?
well, Mercury actually will station retrograde August 12th.
Okay.
And so then we kind of like, we have that window of like a few weeks where we're really feeling the retrograde, then we'll station direct and then move to like come out of shadow. So the Mercury will move into Libra. It's October 1st or October 2nd. I forget which one.
Oh, so the very beginning of October. Okay, cool.
Yeah, so that's when Mercury will move into Libra. And so Mercury in Virgo, Mercury loves to be in Virgo because Mercury rules Virgo. So this is a really good time for like breaking shit down, like details, budget, figuring it out. And the caution is that it's also can be a very self-critical Mercury, like kind of, because when you're picking stuff apart, you could end up being the thing that you pick apart. So to just kind of have awareness of that too. It's a great Mercury for writing, for figuring things out, for making lists, for really getting organized.
Goal setting for next year.
Yes.
That's been on my mind big time as well. But that's perfect. That makes sense because that influence is coming in and like, okay, now I know we got to get into gear for next year.
Absolutely. I mean, this is the time to really be thinking a lot of things for 2018. I'm doing that too, even with work, with plans, like what will things be for next year. It's a great time for that. And then just to remember, like, also be nice to yourself. Don't like to not be too hard on ourselves while we're doing that and sort of use it for that type of planning vibe. And yeah, so I think those are the main things. And I would love to, I don't know, what are you feeling? What do you feel like you want to?
Well, we're going to check in with Spirit and see. Of course, I always bring the tarot as a tool to kind of supplement the astrological forecast and see what else we need to know on the other realms on an emotional and spiritual level that can support us while these changes are going on. So I thought it would be best to phrase it as, okay, we have pros and cons to everything. And I was discussing this with Emily, and this is actually how we approached it last week, which was really beneficial for a lot of you guys, I've heard. So we're going to apply it for this week as well. And so what we're going to do is we're going to find out, all right, what are some disadvantages that we can discover during this time period we need to be aware of? Not necessarily that these are going to transpire in our lives on an individual basis, but we should be somewhat savvy that it may happen in lieu of what's going on up there. So we'll ask Spirit, the highest good of all involved, Spirit, reveal to us subconsciously, what are we not aware of that needs to be made known at this time? That could be a blockage to our progress for this week. Now hearing Emily's forecast, we'll incorporate that too. And I'm feeling this card. Okay. Oh, so it kind of makes sense, totally. And we're getting the 8 of Cups. And we see an illustration of this guy or this woman, we can't really tell, or both. They're going off in some independent direction out of an island, just leading themselves in accordance to their intuition, abandoning these 8 cups. And when we talk about cups in tarot, any suit represents a nature element. So cups are corresponding with the element of water. Feelings, emotions, sentiment, creativity. Sometimes it does correspond to the spirit realm as well. Water is a conduit for spirit. So we have to take that into consideration. But this whole card, you know, it does feel like you're detaching from something, you're leaving something, you're abandoning something, and not necessarily abandoning it because it no longer has a purpose. Well, actually, not because you don't appreciate the purpose, because you no longer want it, but it's more so that you've discovered there are more possibilities and opportunities out there, and you are now expanding beyond your horizon. You're starting to actualize your greatness, and this requires you to leave your comfort zone and to acknowledge what you've once gained nourishment from is no longer valid, will no longer, you know, satisfy you. You need something more. The case with this card is that a lot of us don't know what that it thing is. We don't know what that added nourishment is, whether it's, we know we need to leave our jobs, we know we need to transfer out of our careers, but we don't know what that career is, or we want to start a business, we don't know what that is. We need to leave a relationship, but we don't know what's going to happen beyond the horizon. So this is popping up, mind you, as a blockage, something subconsciously that we need to be aware of. So because this is popping up, it may be the case that you're repressing the need to do this. You're repressing the need to let go. And rather than moving in the direction of your intuition, feeling the pull to cleanse, feeling the pull to take action, you might be stagnant. So this is something that Emily discussed in terms of needing to move with this energy, because you don't want the anxiety to settle. You don't want to just marinate in all of this ickiness and be like, oh my God, why do I feel this way? You want to definitely start taking cues from what your physical body or what your emotional bodies, your ethereal bodies are kind of telling you on an intuitive level. Even if you're thinking about movement, even if you're kind of fantasizing about doing something in the future and you're still kind of feeling anxious about it, just bear in mind that this as a blockage is kind of telling you, you may be inclined to stop yourself from doing that. And you want to ask yourself why, when now is the right time to kind of make that transition. So that is like the, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes might happen type of situation. So let's look at the advantages that we actually have around us that we can use to propel us further during this time. So we will see, Spirit. What are some advantages? What are some assets, positive energy that we can take advantage of, particularly during this week, in accordance to what Emily displayed to us, that can get us in alignment with our best path, higher selves? Okay. Oh, okay. King of Cups. So a lot of emotions we're dealing with this week. Okay, last week was a lot of mental energy. So the King of Cups is a really radical dude. This is amazing. So on the conscious front, what we can really be taking advantage of is what makes you shine, what makes you feel like you're on top of your world, that you feel your best self in, whether that's artistically or at work, or within your personal relationships. The King of Cups is a super mature character in regards to the emotional realm. So he has the potential to experience the highest of the highs and the lowest of the lows, but still not get carried away. He finds the middle ground. He's very calm, cool, and collective. So this is an aspect of yourself that you can really see progress in if you were more proactive in taking your positive energy towards your passions and really solidifying that. Because the King of Cups is a visionary. He's a dreamer. A lot of Pisces energy in this. A lot of innovative ideas coming to you. But the beauty about the King of Cups is that they're not just emotions, they're not just ideas. He has this maturity and a grounding to him that allows them to manifest. So this is a time to take all of that woo-woo, take all of these feelings and really solidify them, make them happen. Participate in the arts, participate in creativity, really utilize all your skill sets and your talents. Psychic energy is a big one with this card too. It should be at an all-time high. Use this to really be proactive in in, you know, gaining steps along your path for whatever it is that you're trying to pursue. This can also represent romantic situations unfolding. Be compassionate with other people and really be gentle with yourself at this time. But again, neutrality is key here. So it's not necessarily about positive or negative. It's just looking at the facts and accepting things for what is, and trying to ascend beyond that, whether it's a negative or positive lesson. How can I show up for myself? How can I show up for others? And how can I allow my talents to do the same? How can I thrive? King of Cups is like a wealthy entrepreneur in the arts. And that's something that we don't really hear of too often. We hear of the starving artist. So he's got the ability to kind of anchor both worlds and make a success for himself. So again, this is really great in the sense of we can really use our emotions in the right direction to benefit for us, and allow us to thrive. And that is the theme here. Thrive with maturity, thrive with a sense of grace, and honor for yourself. So this is really neat. This is really good because we're getting a lot of insight. So last week I mentioned that I wanted to pull out the oracle cards, and we had forgotten. This week I promised that we wouldn't forget. And so this oracle card that I wanted to do is a really basic one, but very impactful one. It's from Marcella Crowell's deck, Sacred Symbols. And she just has a lot of sacred symbols. We're going to be pulling out the symbol of the week that can best guide us, and just seeing what this symbol reveals to us. Spirit, what is the best symbol that can guide us towards clarity, wealth, abundance, health, joy, and for our highest good? So let's see. Okay, so this is kind of self-explanatory, but I love to dip in and see what Marcella's interpretation is. And our card this week deals a lot with the divine feminine, our inner power, our inner creativity, our juju, our sexuality, our magic, the goddess card. Okay, yeah, I know, we're like, so the goddess card says, the divine feminine is present today or in your current situation. If you feel the lack of feminine energy in your life, then this would be the time to find more of a balance and request her presence. This card can also represent mother healing and powerful relationships with women. Symbol. The triple moon goddess is a powerful symbol in paganism and symbolic of the magical trinity in many ancient religions. The triple moon goddess symbol represents the maiden, the mother, and the crone. We see the many facets of life, and just like the phases of the moon, she has her different offerings of divinity, depending on where she is, all equal in and unmeasured in value. We see the beauty of all things in her presence. So really channel that for this week. I mean, we even have the divine feminine inside of ourselves if we are masculine, so it's applicable to all. That needs to be said, because I think a lot of people disregard that. They're like, okay, I'm not a goddess. What does that have to do with me? But really, when you balance both aspects, that's when you're really in alignment with your power. And so what's popping up more importantly is that factor in our lives, you know, authenticity, really shining, really thriving and blooming, allowing this energy not to kind of stunt you backwards or limit you in any way, but seeing where those limitations are and using your inner gifts and using your inner juju to transform that and make yourself more of this manifesting guru that we all are.
Yes.
So a lot of insight. I'm really excited to hear your thoughts on how this resonates with you guys out there.
Yes, I said
it's like, it seems like we're gonna be in for a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I definitely. Well, I mean, everything you shared is so beautiful and fits so well with the nature of the eclipse season, you know, where we are being asked to sometimes let go, to walk away from things, and we're also being really asked to manifest and shine. Like we can have rapid growth and development in a tight window, and we're right, coming up on that. So I love it. It's very helpful to have that guidance in this season, especially. And
This is like preparation.
Totally preparation. And speaking of which, it's also a great season to get a reading, get some extra guidance with either of us. I mean, if this is so good, imagine how good the readings are. So depending what's calling you, astrology reading or tarot reading, but we both offer readings. You can go to my website, thevoluptuouswitch.com, to book a reading. And Tatiana, do you want to share?
And you can go to my website, myurbanillumination.com, to book a reading as well. Definitely. And I have a feeling like August is going to be popping for us in terms of readings, because I've already had 2 readings this week for my phone. So I'm already wanting to look into next month. And you know what? If you have the luxury to do it, if you're, positioned to do this in your life and you can get a reading prior to the next month, that would be really great insight just to prepare yourself, especially if you're just like very analytical and you like to pre-plan things. You want to know what's coming up ahead of time in all aspects of your life, so you can just be more open-minded and aware of it. That's just great. But with these 2 eclipses coming, I'm like, I already feel like we're all going to need some help.
I know. I'm feeling it, and I'm ready to I'm like, I think I'm probably going to book a reading with Tatiana, to be honest, myself. And which I'll look forward to that. And, the eclipses, they impact also the next 6 months. And so it can just be really exactly what Tatiana is saying, can be really key to kind of have a check-in and feel more guided in these coming months, to really, it just feels really good to have that clarity on our path. It's always
kind of good self-care, and it can be a part of your personal ritual. I need to check in with spirit. I feel, and a lot of people that get readings don't necessarily need readings per se. And I think that's a big taboo. Like, oh my God, there's a crisis going on. I definitely need an astrology chart checkup. And I would say it's better to be prepared rather than to run into those situations 100%. Where you really need it at that moment. And, sometimes people just need validation for things that they're already feeling. So, totally. It doesn't mean that your intuition's not working. It's just like, okay, I really feel this 100%, but I would love a reading to see if there's any more insight to support my theory. Or maybe I'm being too emotional. Maybe my, perspective is skewed. I just want to check up. So that can always be an option as well.
For sure.
But yeah.
And definitely follow us both. I'm the Voluptuous Witch on Instagram and Facebook. Tatiana, of course, is Tatiana Tarot on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter.
Yeah. So, and also, Emily, I forgot. I'm so sorry. I'm going to be putting Emily's link up on my YouTube channel. I think I just tagged you as the Voluptuous Witch, but I want to put actually your, the information as to where we can book with you, social media outlets. People will hear this one time only, and they'll be like, wait, what did she say? It won't rewind. So I feel them. So then they can get everything in the comment box below, and you'll find our information below in either pages.
Totally. Yes. And I'll have Tatiana's up too. And I also am excited to hear. I hope you'll comment and let us know like how your week is going, how you're receiving the readings, what you're experiencing. Love to stay in touch, and really excited to be back with you next week, because next week is a big week. And so we get to check in about that then.
Big. Yeah. And, this is just, again, the Virgo in me, but like I always tell people, like these sort of check-ins and these readings, general readings, always inspire me to like whip out like a journal and write things down, and just because there's a lot of insight you guys are probably getting too that we're not mentioning. Things like, oh, I need to do this or I need to do that, and it's just totally. And so you want to kind of reflect upon the week, what's been going on and what we've said and what you've picked up intuitively. and have that as a reference point so that you don't have to go back and forth to the video all the time. But please, if you are inclined, share with those in need, like and subscribe, and we will be back next week for more juicy information on these eclipses.
Yes, we'll be back next week. This was so good. Thank you, Tatiana.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.